Hey everybody, one of the most common questions since being paralyzed I get is, are you still farming and can you still run equipment? So today I'm going to show you how I drive our tractor. I am out doing strip till, which is where we work just a small band of the ground and we place the fertilizer right in that band, and then next spring we'll come back and plant on top of it. The tractor that I'm driving today is one of our main tractors that we use. And honestly, we have done the least modifications to our tractors so that I can use them. They're already basically all run by hand with very minimal need for feet. So I'm going to take you a tour around the cab. Alright, here I am sitting in our John Deere tractor. Just got your steering wheel. It has a clutch on the left and then two brakes, one for the right side, one for the left side. And here's one of our few modifications that we've made. We have this bracket mounted on to a bar, so it sits up here by the steering wheel, so if I need to use the brake, I can reach forward here, and when I pull it towards me, it applies the brake. I very seldomly use the brake, and it's basically only there so if there's a case of emergency or something going around the road, that I'll be able to apply the brake, but otherwise in the field operation I never use it. Here is the main monitor that I use. This does my guidance, so it'll drive me straight across the field, and then it also controls the rate controller that applies the fertilizer to the field, and it tells it how much fertilizer and to put where. The screen up here on the left, it's a little bit difficult to see. I can set my speed and how fast I want to go, and then it'll show me the engine RPMs and how fast I'm actually going. This here is a camera. It's looking inside of the fertilizer tank. I also have another one that faces out the back, so when I'm going down the road I can see if there's a vehicle behind me. I have an iPad mounted here. This controls my row unit on the strip till machine. A scale here to tell me how many pounds of fertilizer is in the strip till machine. And then this last little box controls the row cleaners on the strip till machine, and my headset that I use for making calls so that way I can do them hands-free. This here is another monitor that's attached to the tractor armrest. It just basically gives us information about the tractor. This here is how I control going forward, backwards, and everything. So this is my main way of controlling the tractor. These here are different hydraulics for running the implement. And this little button right here that says auto is how I engage my auto steer so it drives straight for me. Then just got your other basic controls for lights, music. These are used to control through this monitor, which is also touchscreen though, so they're not quite really needed. And then your climate control. Alright, so for driving the tractor, I take this, I put it all the way forward, because it has what's called an infinitely variable transmission. So the tractor will dictate how much RPM it needs to go the speed that I set. And then to drive, you just have park, neutral, forward 1, and forward 2. Forward 2 is basically for going down the road for how we use it. And forward 1 is for going across the field, and then reverse. So all I have to do to move is just bring it up, put it in forward, and we are moving. If I want to stop, I put it there. It has what's called a positive neutral, so when you put it in neutral, it's basically like applying the brakes. And if I want to back up, you go there. The further you move it, the faster you go. So I start backing up quicker and can stop. So next I'll take off across the field and you can see how I drive. Oh yes, and I forgot one thing on my bar of monitors. This switch here is to control my fertilizer. It's my master on and off, so basically once it's on, I leave it on, and then it knows when to start and stop the fertilizer based on whether or not the implement is in the ground. This used to be on a foot switch, but obviously because I can't use my feet, we just took and rewired it to a little toggle switch here so I can just simply flip it off and on. Alright, in order to get the steering wheel down, there's actually a little lever right down in between the clutch and the brake. Pretty tough to see from there, but you have to press on that to get the steering wheel down. So this is where my legs actually come in handy. I just take and pick my foot up, get my foot on it, give it a little jab, steering wheel comes down. Alright, now I just gotta start flipping my switches to turn everything on, to get my implement running. Take my throttle wide open, put it into forward 1, press my auto steer button to resume, and I'm ready to set it down. So I press that number 1, sets the implement down. Put it all the way forward to go 8 miles an hour. Now we're hands free and feet free too. Alright, now I'm coming up to the end of the field where I have to turn around. So I'll use this to slow the tractor down. Then I have to pull this lever back to pick the implement up out of the ground, and then I'll turn around, engage my auto steer, send it back down, and speed back up again. So I'm going to slow down here. Click that to pick it up. When I turn the steering wheel, it disengages the auto steer. It turns most of the way back around, press it, it turns, does what it needs to do to get to the line. Set it back down. Push it back forward to go back full speed. Alright, now we're rolling in the field. My steering wheel down. My monitor here. You can see these different colors. Each different color is a different rate of fertilizer. We apply as to what the crop will need and what the soil has available. So if there's less nutrients available, we put down more fertilizer. And if the soil naturally has the fertilizer that it needs, we put down less. There. Peek at that, we're going 7.8 mile an hour at 1990 RPMs. See all these little bars moving? It's just hydraulic downforce to keep the units in the ground. Here's what I'm actually pulling. It's our strip till machine. The fertilizer is going from those hoses to each one of the rows. Fertilizer is stored in there until it is needed. And we're making those nice little black strips that we will plant corn on next spring. So in short summary, the only two things that we've changed on this tractor to make it more accessible for me is adding my brake handle and changing the master switch from a foot switch to a hand switch. I do notice there are different things that I do now inside the tractor. Like I hold on to this often so I can turn myself. So my legs just kind of drag around down there. So I use that to help swivel from side to side. Then once I get here, obviously I have to take and slide my legs over to where they need to be. But other than that, everything's smooth sailing unless something breaks out there, and then it's a call to dear old dad, can you come fix what I screwed up? Have a good day.